Today in class, we went over paragraph 3 on your Unit 4A research paper outline. Scroll down until you see Roman numeral 3, which is body paragraph 2, your counterclaim. Like yesterday, this paragraph consists of a topic sentence, introduction to your quote, explanation, and a concluding sentence. It's easier to skip over the topic sentence and the introduction to claim and scroll right to letter C, the quote for your counterclaim. Because once you have your quote, which is the foundation of your paragraph, it's easier to fill in the other pieces of the paragraph. Now, last week, you already found your quote for your counterclaim in your final topic proposal worksheet, which looks like this. You completed it on Friday in class. Once you open this up and you scroll down to the bottom where it says step 2, this is where you needed to find your quote for your counterclaim. So remember, counterclaim is the opposing viewpoint, the one that is opposite of yours. So you're going to copy the quote that you found from your final topic proposal, go back to your research paper outline, and next to that blue arrow underneath the example of letter C is where you will paste your quote for your counterclaim. Note that I also have my quote in MLA format, so I have quotation marks starting and ending the quote, followed by the author's last name in parentheses and then a period. So my quote says, teachers and principals often report that discipline problems are reduced in schools that implement a standardized dress program. Because remember, my example prompt is, should students wear uniforms to school? Now, yesterday I went over how my viewpoint is no, they should not. And I completed paragraph 2 on my viewpoint. Now, all of paragraph 3 will be about the opposing viewpoint, stating how uniforms should be worn. So now that I have my quote, I'm going right back, circling to the topic sentence, letter A. And again, this topic sentence states the other side's reason for why you are wrong. So this is a debate in your paper. So this time you will start with using nouns such as critics or components, and you will continue again by using a verb such as argue, claim, contend. In this section, again, as the title says, is only one sentence, topic sentence. You can follow the template, which is color-coded, start with a transition, followed by your noun, followed by your verb, and then your opponent's argument. So in the example of school uniforms, I say, nevertheless, some critics argue that enforcing school uniforms helps students perform better in school because they tend to stay out of trouble. So my transition is in red, my noun is in purple, my verb is blue, and then the opposing argument. And the opposing argument has to relate to my quote that I just found. So again, that's why it's nice to have your quote as the foundation to fill in the rest of the pieces. So now we already started this out for you. Nevertheless, some critics argue that. You're just filling in the blank with the opposing viewpoint's argument. Then you're moving on to the introduction to your counterclaim, letter B. Now you are not placing a quote here. You're introducing the quote that you already have in section C. So like yesterday, you're going to first of all identify the source, which is your author. Is the author a journalist, psychiatrist, teacher, scientist, and what's this person's name? And then B, you are summarizing to provide context. You are just summarizing their side of the argument, which again is opposite of yours. So you can use any of the verbs that are in orange here, and note that they are not interchangeable, so make sure of the choice that you are using. And this should be 1 to 2 sentences. My example is, journalist William Booth believes that while students are wearing uniforms, they have to obey and follow rules, so they will learn how to respect others. So you are writing yours next to this blue arrow underneath the example. The quote you already have, we did that first, so you can scroll right to letter D, the explanation. Now this is where you should spend a majority of your time. This is where you're analyzing how the quote that you just found in letter C supports that topic sentence that you wrote in letter A. So you are not summarizing the quote. You want to prove how that quote shows and supports the topic sentence. But make sure, again, it is third person point of view. So no pronouns like I, me, we, us, or you. So remember, my quote, the opposing quote, was all about how wearing uniforms actually helps prevent discipline problems. So my explanation, because I'm not repeating the quote, I want to analyze it. I wrote, in other words, wearing school uniforms is a step of preparation for professional life. When students have a job, they will have to dress appropriately. When dressing the part, students tend to have a more focused mindset on work rather than getting into trouble. Additionally, students feel that they are part of a group, and that will also encourage their learning environment, reducing discipline issues. So I connected to my quote and my topic sentence, and I did not repeat it or summarize it, I analyzed it. So you are typing yours next to this blue arrow underneath the example. And then the last part of this paragraph is your concluding sentence. You're just wrapping up, bringing closure to your paragraph. My example reads, in short, school uniforms remind students that they are at school to work and their biggest goal is to learn. One sentence, right next to this blue arrow like all the other parts. But make sure you are not being repetitive, that each section, although talking about the same topic, since you are defending that topic, needs to be new ideas and new words.